Well, hey, Vintage, happy 5th birthday. We have so much to celebrate from the last 5 years, don't we? So I remember just the groundswell of excitement through the fall of 2019 when we had all our pre-launch services, eating Chick-fil-A, gathering hundreds of people at the Romanesque rooms, through all of the getting ready, and then through a practice service to launch on the 26th of January out in the open at Hamilton Elementary School. But it was amazing that just after 6 weeks, the whole world imploded and we found ourselves filming online church in the living room of someone's house, just 3 people allowed in a room. And we pivoted so many times throughout 2020 from one location to another location, online, outdoors, face masks, and then eventually by the middle of 2021 we were allowed to be back in the school gathering together, which felt like such a joyful moment after so long. And I think coming back in at the school was so exciting, but it also gave us a taste of what it might look like to be in the heart of the city ministering the good news of Jesus to those right in the middle of Pasadena. And so when the option came from almost nowhere to suddenly move into this huge big old church building, it felt almost unbelievable, but at the same time such a gift from the Lord for the next stage of ministry. In the end, we only had 2 weeks to try and turn this whole building around and renovate it ready for the Easter services of 2022. And by some incredible miracle and the hard work of so many staff and volunteers, we were just about ready for that first Good Friday, and we opened the doors and welcomed hundreds of people to celebrate being in this place. But even though we were in this big old building, I remember saying to church the opportunity but also the danger of hiding within 4 big old walls. And I'm so excited that as we moved into Pasadena proper, that we then got this opportunity to partner with this amazing ministry that's been going for 20 years, providing dinner and resources and a church service every week to people in a local park.
So it's been wild to see how V Kids and V Youth has changed since a couple of families back in Hamilton outside through to a couple of hundred kids on the top floor here in the building. And it's just been wonderful to see what God has been doing and the many volunteers to make that work. And one of the big highlights has been VBS. We've run that since 2022. It's just been great to see new families joining us and kids having fun and being together.
Over the 5 years, it's been amazing to see how Alpha can work in so many different contexts, from online in the middle of a pandemic, in people's backyards, sipping a glass of wine, and now eventually inside a church building on Tuesday nights.
Another amazing way that we've been gathering as a community is through Kingdom Come, just to come and worship and pray together. And it's just been a joy to see people being able to express themselves in worship in that way. One of the really important parts of Vintage here is to partner with people doing mission locally here. And during our time, we've been working with 3 amazing organizations, so Door of Hope, Stars, and Claris Health. And it's just been a joy to see how we can support them doing amazing things in LA.
But as well as everything that's been going on in Pasadena, it's been so exciting to work with Mission Flight to build links into Mexico. Not that we get to go with all of the answers, but just that we actually get to go and learn and partner with the amazing ministry that people are doing to bring medical, dental, and optical relief, and even work with children on the Baja.
I want to celebrate the fact that this is a really healthy church. The number of people who I've met who have come from different experiences, highs and lows, and are just looking for a safe place where they can connect with their faith in a really real way.
The biggest thing that I want to celebrate is, personally, I feel like this is one of the first places that I've been where creativity is really valued and seen and put on display.
I would love to celebrate just the kids ministry. I've been helping for quite some years, and to see how it's grown, and to know that every time before at Hamilton we would set up in this little classroom and tear down, and then so now to have a nice classroom to come to and see the growth in the kids, not even just in size but just how they interact with one another, it's the best thing for me. So that's something that I'd love to celebrate.
I want to celebrate this community, a community that is far from perfect, but a community that loves Jesus and values doing life together.
The thing I want to celebrate is just that God used us in this community, and we didn't know a lot of things on how to even run a community group, much less a church, and how God really showed up and used us.
Our hope is that Pasadena Vintage is exactly like that, to be a welcoming place, to want to get to know people, to create a community. So that's just something I think we've celebrated.
Something that we really celebrate, that we see the diversity of age, the diversity of socioeconomic status, the diversity of ethnicity, that's not manufactured. It's just who our community is and how the Lord is reaching them. And, we get the privilege of standing by like the best man at a wedding. It's not about us, but we get to see him do it.
I just want to celebrate just all God's done, I think. And that's a really big phrase, and we throw that around all the time, and it's probably overly spiritualized, but in lots of ways, it's just been amazing to see God just showing up, whether that's in community groups on Sundays, in our prayer team. I've just been so grateful to hear those stories, and one of the privileges of my job is taking people out for coffee and listening to their stories and seeing why they've come here, and we're just grateful.
What I would love to celebrate is that this church has become a home to so many people.
We really felt just incredibly welcomed the moment that we arrived. And I've seen it throughout all aspects of the church, just this real desire to try our best to connect with one another.
I want to celebrate Vintage being an authentic community that continues to be a welcoming place for people who may not even feel like they fit into their current life stage.
If I'm going to be honest, I really feel like the main thing is I found a church home. Happy birthday, Vintage.
Happy birthday, Vintage.
Happy birthday, Vintage!